Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. No, we're in the Eastern time zone, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to BASF and the wonderful Research Triangle Park area here in beautiful North Carolina. We are live to you today from a gorgeous facility on an absolutely picture-perfect day. Actually, any day that we have the option to celebrate teachers and agricultural education is a picture-perfect day, but today is even a little bit more special. Today I would like to start off by sharing with you some information about who we are and where we're at. The National Teach Ag campaign is an initiative to recruit and retain high quality and diverse agriculture teachers. And we are part of the National Association of Agricultural Educators, the professional organization that serves agriculture teachers. And we have wonderful partners. And one of our wonderful partners, and you'll be hearing about many more of our wonderful partners, is BASF, located right here in Research Triangle Park, who opened up their home to us today to celebrate agriculture teachers and agricultural education. And I would like to introduce to you Mr. Paul Ray, the Senior Vice President of the BASF Agricultural Solutions Products Division. Mr. Paul Ray.
Well, good morning, everyone, and a big BASF welcome to everyone here in the room, but a lot of people online as well. It's great to have you here today with us. This is a really great day, and we're just as excited as Alan to be hosting you here. This is our headquarters for North America, so we have around 1,600 people work here at this facility who are really just as passionate about the role that agriculture plays and the future of agriculture as you are. And I think there we have a really shared interest of how do we work together in the future to build the type of capability and talent we need to make agriculture what it needs to be. And for that, we are really honoured to partner with Teach Ag and the National Association of Agricultural Educators. That's a mouthful. We're really delighted to be partnering with you because we, like you, know that we need talented people. Inspired students today will be the leaders of agriculture in the future. And so from BASF, thank you for the work you do. You inspire us, you make us better, and we're delighted to be partnering with you and helping you do what you do every day. It's a real pleasure. Now, it's also great to have you here in North Carolina, which has great traditions and a legacy of agriculture. There's about 170 different ag tech companies operating out of North Carolina. There's 5 of the top global ag innovators, five of the top 6 are located here in North Carolina. We have an ag economy of just under $92 billion in North Carolina. And so that's why one of the reasons BASF is located here. And that's a long legacy that we have here as well. And we're delighted that you've chosen our venue to celebrate the 10th year of Teach Ag as an organisation. Now today you're going to hear a little bit more about BASF, and we're delighted to share with you some of our history and some of our legacy. And I hope that inspires you to do more in agriculture and to really fuel that energy we need to bring more into the classroom on why agriculture plays such an important role in our future. And you'll be hearing from some different people from BASF, including a couple of my colleagues. Rihanna Goofling and Charles Floyd will be sharing a little bit of background on what it takes to bring new innovations to market over a very long time frame. Then you'll hear from Chuck Benson, who will talk a little bit about an initiative we've led over the last few years called Living Acres, and how do we restore habitat for monarch butterflies, which is a great sustainability story and has a really key local impact. Then you'll also hear from Jennifer Overholt, Frantina Williams, Jacob Mueller, and Mary Kate Morgan on the type of things BASF is doing to develop agricultural talent in our environment. And it's a program we're particularly proud of, the role we're playing to build long-lasting, rewarding and motivating careers for students in the agricultural industry. And I think you'll find their stories quite inspiring as well. And lastly, I'd just like to say again, thank you so much for joining us. We're delighted to have you here. The facility is something we're very proud of, and we're delighted that you're all here today joining us. Now we'd like to show a short video that gives you a little bit of background on who BASF is. We have quite a long history ourselves. We've been in business some 154 years. We celebrated our 150th not that long ago. And it's a legacy that we're really proud of the role we've played in agriculture, and in particular in making agriculture better, stronger and more innovative in the future. And so now we'll show a short video before we hand over to my colleagues. Thanks again.
There's history in the making at BASF, and it begins by celebrating the rich history we've already made, starting in 1865. BASF is founded the year the American Civil War has ended. And over the next 40 years, Edison invents the light bulb, a German physicist discovers X-rays, and the Lumiere brothers premiere the first motion pictures in Paris. From those innovative beginnings, BASF moves steadily into research and development across new areas. Around the world during this period, Charles Lindbergh makes his historic flight, Ben-Hur hits the screens, and World War II begins. For the next 20 years, BASF broadens and deepens its agricultural offerings, and its ag division globally reaches a new milestone in total sales. The world sees an end to the Great War, the Berlin Wall goes up, and Martin Luther King declares, "I have a dream." By its 100th anniversary in 1965, BASF is already a transnational company. And with the launch of new production facilities in the US, the company strengthens its presence in highly industrial countries worldwide. Meanwhile, Apollo 11 lands on the moon, Woodstock captivates a nation, and the Berlin Wall comes down. Global expansion to groundbreaking business strategies around sustainability, BASF moves into the current era as a new century dawns and new paths open. The World Wide Web breaks through, and Michael Phelps becomes the most awarded Olympian in history. Just this past August 1st, 2018, it becomes official. BASF acquires a major portfolio of products, including the company's first ever seeds, along with new seed treatments and the expert and talented people behind them. This is truly history in the making at BASF, and we're the team making it. We're taking major strides as we work for the good of our customers and the world we help them feed and clothe. We are one team leading, and the future starts here.
Thank Thank you very much. Again, welcome to BASF. We are so glad you could join us today. My name is Rihanna Gutling. I'm a Global Strategic Marketing Manager in our seed treatment group. And that just means that I have the privilege of working with teams from all over the globe to develop strategies for our seed treatment business. And this is my friend Charles.
Thank you. And again, welcome to everybody who's here in the audience and to everyone who's viewing online. My name is Charles Floyd. I'm a research biologist in our insecticide group. I work in advanced testing and initial characterization, which simply means I help to determine which of our products work best in controlling different types of insects.
And what is really fascinating and wonderful about agriculture to me is that there is a place for everyone, regardless of your background. And your career can take you anywhere, right?
Oh. Indeed. There are a lot of opportunities for students in agriculture, even if you don't come from a farming background. And so today, we would like to tell you a little bit about how we get a product to market, and also about some of the many talented people who help get it there.
Now, the story starts with a why, because every good story has to have a good why, right? So why do we do what we do? Well, we've all heard that the world population is growing, right? But did you know that farmland isn't? Farmers are growing our food on the same amount of land that they had in 1970. And back then, the world population was less than half of what it is today. And on top of that, every single day, food production is threatened by weeds and disease and insects, and without the proper crop protection tools, like insecticides, fungicides, and herbicides, farmers could stand to lose up to 80% of their crop. So here at BASF, we believe that it is our responsibility to give the farmers the tools that they need to meet these threats head on.
Absolutely. The development of a new product begins with the search for a best active ingredient. Now, that's simply just a molecule that's at the heart of a product. It makes it work. So we have teams of chemists who do research with molecular structure to kind of tinker around, to be able to model the molecule in such a way that it fits so it has good crop protection value, it is easily scaled up in large quantities. We also have teams of biologists who grow millions of plants for experimentation, and still even more biologists like myself who test these plants and active ingredients to be able to find out more about what they do.
And don't forget the lawyers who study patents to make sure that our discoveries are unique and don't belong to somebody else's intellectual property, right?
That's exactly right. These teams all work together to screen hundreds of thousands of compounds to narrow down to the select one that is the active ingredient that's going to provide the best benefit to our growers.
But no matter how effective an active ingredient is, it has to be safe, because Paul will agree with me, safety is our #1 priority at BASF. So we have teams of biologists, toxicologists, ecotoxicologists, and more. Many more,
yes.
Who study exactly what happens to an active ingredient when it's applied to the plant, on the insect, in the soil, in the water, what happens to other plants or animals like bees, just to name a few, because it is absolutely critical that our products meet or exceed international safety standards and minimize the risk to humans and the environment.
Yes, and next, our formulation chemists get to do their thing. These are chemists that help develop the best delivery system for our active ingredient. So whether that's a liquid or a granule, or even like an aerosol can, they are looking to find the best way to get the optimum performance and ease of use for that active ingredient. In addition to the formulation, there's also with our manufacturing. Did we go to there?
We start scaling it up and we test it in the field, right?
That's right. Let me mention that at this point in time in the product, a lot of times we want to go ahead and get some early field trials in. This way we can learn a little bit more about how it performs in different climates, on different varieties of plants, and under unique circumstances.
What happens if a product fails?
We just simply stop working on it.
It's that simple,
That's
right?
simple.
Because you wouldn't put your own family at risk, and neither would we.
Absolutely.
Now, at this point in the story is about the time when project managers like me start to get involved. We have market research data, and we work with experts around the globe to quantify and understand the potential business benefits of the new product. And as Charles said, we also start engaging manufacturing experts so that they can develop a process to scale up production. It's sort of like baking a cake. You know, we've got a recipe, we know how to do it in the kitchen, now we need to bring it to the restaurant. So we need the right kitchen, big kitchen, we need the right ingredients, and we need to get it at the right cost. So everything has to come together to make sure that our new products are beneficial to our growers.
Yeah, that's really good. At this point in time, with all the scientific studies done, you want to move to registration. So this is the point where we want to reach out to entities like EPA and other entities around the world in order to get approval to sell the product. It takes about 3 years in order for an agency to review a submission. So during this point in time, our regulatory experts have to be readily available to answer any and all questions regarding the submission, a pretty big task.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as we await registration, our local teams start preparing for launch. So we have marketers, communications experts, technical service, operations and supply chain teams that work with our field sales teams to plan the new product's entry into the market and actually get it on the shelves.
Yes. And so here's a quick question, though, for you, Rihanna. Did you know that our commitment to our customers does not stop with an invoice?
I did know that.
And I knew you would. As a matter of fact, one of our core values at BASF is to make sure that we have good product stewardship after the sale of a product. We work hand in hand with our customers to make sure that our product performs as we say that it would. And at this point in time, I think you kind of get the idea. There are a lot of people who have a lot of different various backgrounds and talents that are involved in the journey of getting a product to market. And mind you, we're just not going to have the time to go into the depths and breadth of people who are in human resources, IT, finance, and all important community relations who help connect our business with wonderful, great organizations and individuals such as yourself who are helping to shape the future of agriculture.
There really is a place for everyone in agriculture because the challenge of feeding our growing planet is immense. And the solution to that challenge could lie in a molecule on a bench in a chemistry lab somewhere. And it's a molecule that frankly needs you, right? It needs your ingenuity, your creativity, your persistence, your passion to bring it to life. So thank you for all that you do to inspire the future of agriculture and for your commitment to all of us in the industry.
Absolutely. And with that, again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time and your patience. With that, we'll turn over to our next presenter, Chuck Benson. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Chuck Benson. I lead the market intelligence for our U.S. Ag team. And so essentially what I do is I look at the trends that are impacting agriculture and then try to understand how as a company we can either respond to those or actually help shape those trends. And the one thing that I've learned in my career is the importance of investing. And I really learned that going back over 30 years ago in the ag classroom. So I go back to my ag teachers, Mr. Kuntz and Mr. Sharpie, and I still vividly remember them talking about the importance of investing in a number of things, investing in projects. And so I think about what Charles and Rihanna just talked about. It's really about investing in a project, about investing in people. And Jennifer Overholt's going to come up in just a couple of minutes and talk about that, or investing in your community. And so I want to talk a little bit about what that means to invest in your community, because that's important to our DNA as BASF. And so for us, when I think about investing in the community, great example, butterflies. And so if you imagine a butterfly, I would bet probably 99% of you are thinking about the monarch butterfly. It's that definitive orange and black butterfly that everybody knows as a butterfly. And it deserves all of the grandeur and respect that we give it. Let me just share a couple of things about the monarch butterfly. First of all, 10,000 feet. Monarch butterflies have been known to be able to fly 10,000 feet, 2 miles straight up. Amazing for something that looks so fragile. Or how about transatlantic flight? It's one of the few insects that has the ability or has been known to be able to actually traverse the entire Atlantic Ocean. But for me, maybe the most amazing thing is the migration. And so about this time of year, first of all, there's monarch butterflies in every single state. The majority of the monarch butterflies follow the same migration pattern. So about this time of year, the majority of the monarch butterflies are up in the northern part of the U.S., into the southern part of Canada, and they're just about getting ready to take the southern trek of 3,000 miles back down to the southwestern part of Mexico. And they go to the same place every single year. They go to these fir trees, and they literally coat these fir trees in orange and black. And then as it starts to get warm in the spring, they actually start to make their trek back up north. They'll go about 400 or 500 miles, maybe find a place of a big clump of milkweed in Texas somewhere, and they'll lay their eggs, and then they'll hatch. You'll see the white, black, and yellow monarch larvae. Those caterpillars will devour that milkweed. They'll form the chrysalis, and then the butterfly comes out, and it begins the nest trek for another 400 or 500 miles. And it'll do that 4 or 5 times until they get back up to the northern part of the U.S. And then something amazing happens, because it took 4 or 5 generations for them to get there, but it only takes a single generation for them to get all the way back down. So based on where they're at in the migratory journey is the thing that determines how long they live. Something so unique to that monarch butterfly. But there's also something about monarch butterflies. If you look over the last 20 or 25 years, there's been a pretty significant reduction in the population of monarch butterflies. In fact, about 90%. So for me, it's amazing to think about such a dramatic decline. In fact, it's in consideration as an endangered species. Now, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that, because I grew up in a northern part of Illinois. Shout out to all of my Illinois friends maybe watching online. So I grew up in the northern part of Illinois, and I remember seeing monarch butterflies everywhere. And they were everywhere until they weren't. And so if you're like me, the big question is why? What happened? Well, again, there's a number of things that have caused it. Deforestation. So again, one of the cool things about monarch butterflies is they go down to the same exact trees every single year. And over time, some of those trees have come into production in Mexico to produce some things like the avocados that we love to eat. Now, subsequently, Mexico has actually protected about 140,000 of those acres to preserve a home for the butterflies. There's also extreme weather patterns. And so, you can imagine monarch butterflies trying to survive extreme weather patterns. But I want to focus on one thing, and that's milkweed, because milkweed is critical for the monarch butterfly. It's the only thing they eat. In fact, it's one of their defense mechanisms, because as they eat that milkweed, it actually makes them noxious to most other animals. In fact, that's why they don't have many other natural predators. They don't taste good, and just trust me, they really don't taste good. So the question is, how does that happen? Well, it's happened because if you've seen, the expansion of towns and cities, people put in yards and driveways as opposed to patches of weed. Or farmers have done an incredible job of creating clean fields. But also in creating those clean fields to feed a growing population, we simply don't see the same kind of weeds that we saw historically. So what does that mean? We firmly believe more milkweed, more monarchs. Over the last several years, we've literally worked with thousands of our own employees, our own sites, our own manufacturing sites, our farmer customers, our retail customers, to create what we call living acres. These patches of wildflowers and milkweed that form these biodiverse habitats for monarch butterflies. Now, I would challenge all of you here, all of you online, to think about what that could look like for you. We believe that everyone can plant milkweed. In fact, we believe there's a lot of great reasons for it. If you think about your ag classrooms, man, what a great way to be able to reach into your communities and talk about what sustainable agriculture really looks and feels like in such a tangible way. I think it's also a great SAE project. Man, what an easy way to be able to make an impact in your local community. But at the bottom line, it's good for our planet. And so we would challenge all of you to just reach out to anybody in BASF and ask, how can I partner with you in Living Acres? We would love to talk to you about it. So, again, a great way to invest in community. Next thing, we're going to talk about what it means to invest in people. And I can't think of nobody better to do that than Jennifer Overholt, who leads our summer intern as well as our college hire professional development program. And before we listen to Jennifer Overholt and some additional people, I'd like you to take a look at this video.
The internship program at BASF, I'm a very big supporter of it. I consider it a feeder program to our future leaders and employees within the organization. And I'm really excited to see the growth and sophistication in both direction and energy that we've had in recent years with Jennifer and the team leading. Not to be overlooked, though, is a life-changing opportunity for the students that can be seen in their faces and in the work that they've done. As a former intern myself within our industry, I was there, and so it's fun for me to get to see myself a bit in the students today, although 30 years later.
Good morning, my name's Jennifer Overholt, and I get the joy every single day of walking through our offices here at BASF and getting to work with young individuals starting their careers here. And I'm sure for those of you who are ag teachers, you feel the same way when you walk into the classroom. It truly is a joy for me. I know when I started off my career many years ago, my father said to me, a journey starts with one step. Now, between you and me, my father actually didn't come up with that statement. I think it was a Chinese philosopher who actually said that first. But please don't share that with him. So I want to talk to you a little bit. From that video, you saw information about our internship program from this past summer, 2019. Let me tell you about our internship program. It's a 12-week program, definitely experiential learning. It's a partnership with members here within our offices and out in our field teams as well. We work together to ensure that individuals get a true picture of what it means to work, not only at BASF, but in the agricultural industry. It's hands-on learning for them. It starts with a week of onboarding here in our offices at the Research Triangle Park, and we focus on things not only about learning about agriculture, learning about our products, but also on focusing on those things that are important to us, including education, safety, and giving back to the community. All of our interns this past summer participated in an event at the food bank, and together we created over 4,000 meals locally for the food bank here in North Carolina. So it's something that we're very proud of. Transitioning from our internship program is our professional development program. It's an 18-month rotational program. And for those of you who don't know what a rotational program is, it starts off first here in our offices. So it's that transition period of going from the classroom into the work environment, learning about what it is that we do and why we do it. And they're aligned with teams in our marketing group, learning about our products, learning about our customers, the engagement, and all the tools and resources necessary to be successful as they segue into a career out within our organization. Then they rotate, that's the rotational piece. out into a 9-month rotation into the field. And they're working alongside individuals one-on-one focused on delivering information for sustainable agriculture, working with our customers. And with me today, I have 3 individuals here on the stage. As you can see, I'd like to introduce them. First with me is Frantina Williams. She's a member of our professional development program. I also have Jacob Mueller, also a member of our professional development program, and Mary Kate Morgan, who was one of our 2019 interns that helped prepare some of those meals, 4,000 meals that we told you about. So Frantina, for those out here, you and I met a few years ago at a Manners conference. For individuals here who maybe are not informed or don't know about Manners, can you share with them a little bit about the Manners organization?
Yeah. So Manners is an organization that I first joined in my time at Kansas State University. So shout out to any fellow Wildcats who are out in the audience today. But Manners is actually short for Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. Hopefully I don't have to say that 5 times fast anytime soon, right? So we're a primarily collegiate level organization focused on building professional skill sets, education, and providing opportunities to minorities in agriculture.
Excellent, thank you. So you interned with us, and now you came into our professional development program. Actually, you interned twice, which was great. I'm glad to have you back so many times. But what from your experience as an intern influenced your decision to join us and start your career out with BASF?
So for me, the decision to come back to BASF was fairly simple. Not only were the projects that I worked on over my summers here very educational and impactful, but I think the biggest value really came from the people that I worked with every single day who were really focused and invested on both my personal and professional development. And that just really spoke volumes for the overall culture that I've seen here at BASF. And so I think for you as educators, something valuable would make sure that you understand the value of guiding students to find a right cultural fit, because it can really set them up for some success.
Awesome, thank you. So Jacob Mueller here works on our organization, again, as a professional development member, and you're a former state FFA officer, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, great. Why don't you kind of share for individuals what impact one of your ag teachers maybe had on you or the ag education?
Sure. So first and foremost, shout out to Indiana and Eastern Hancock High School if you're out there. So I had several ag teachers while I was in high school, and I mean, obviously all of them were really impactful in different ways, but I think the thing that they all shared in common was their consistent energy that they put into pushing me to achieve things that I maybe hadn't occurred to me were possible to achieve, or to participate in different things and pursue different leadership opportunities that helped me develop the soft skills while I was in high school that eventually set me up to be on the path to where I am today.
Great, thank you. And so you also interned with us in 2018 and transitioned into our professional development program. Maybe you can also share from your perspective what your experiences that you had that helped influence your decision to join BASF.
Sure. So I was an intern down in Lubbock, Texas, which is a long way from Indiana. I saw a cotton plant for the first time in my life. And while I was out there, I worked with several different members of the team out in the field. And I got some exposure to how the different parts of our business all work together to deliver the customer experience and the products that we deliver to our customers. And the thing that really was most impactful about the internship program for me was the project that I was given. I had the tools that I needed to succeed, and I had the support from the different members of our team, but I also had some autonomy and room to grow and be challenged and solve problems on my own. And so that space to grow and develop is what led me to want to come back as a PDP.
Great, thank you. And so last but not least, because we're definitely focused here on our ag teachers, Mary Kate Morgan. Mary Kate, you were a state FFA officer in North Carolina, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Mary Kate interned with us this past year, like I said, in 2019. And you have a career goal of going into agriculture and teaching agriculture. So coming into having an internship with us, maybe it's a little different path to go into when you think about that you're going to end up in the classroom. So what is it, do you think, that experience you can take away from for when you go into the classroom?
Yes, ma'am. There's so many things that I can take from my experience working with BASF this summer as an intern into the classroom. As Mr. Ray mentioned earlier, I plan to teach in North Carolina, and North Carolina's agriculture industry makes up $85 billion of our economy. So our careers in agriculture are really important to drive our students towards those careers. And being a part of BASF this summer, I was able to see a wide array of careers in research and development, in sales and marketing, in the field, in the technical service representative roles. So it's just really neat to be able to show my students just the wide array of careers in agriculture. As Jacob mentioned, I also had a project this summer. I was based in Illinois, which is very different from northeastern North Carolina, where I'm from. So it was a great opportunity to kind of see what agriculture is like across the United States. And I'll therefore be able to share that with my students when I'm explaining to them concepts within global agriculture. But just going back to what I was saying, I think that, having that opportunity will just really help my students be able to see the wide array of careers within agriculture. And then having that project this summer, I actually had a survey project where I was able to go out to farmers and growers and then the people within BASF and survey them on their experience. And so having that opportunity within a more research-based project, I think will help my students in their supervised agricultural experiences in the classroom. So I'm really excited to kind of convey my knowledge from this summer with my students in the future.
Thank you. So as you can see, that careers do start with one step, like my father said. It takes a journey. We do believe that talent is in everyone. We look for individuals with very diverse backgrounds to join our organization and start that journey in a career here at BASF. Now I'd like to kind of wrap things up for myself and kind of hand over right now to our captain of the day, Ellen.
Thank you. It's so cool to hear the story about how a product goes from start to finish and the wonderful things that you're doing in the community. Obviously, we at Teach Ag and NAAE and FFA are recipients of some of that great stewardship that they have in the communities, and then of course seeing how our students that have been in ag programs and maybe now want to go and teach, how all of that is connected throughout BASF, and is probably a very good indication of what's happening across the board in other organizations and companies as well. So congratulations to you all, and really great to hear your stories. So what we're going to do now is thank you for joining this really educational session, and I want to let you all know that all of this will be archived and available in snippets and or the whole pieces, so you can use those in your classrooms. And just hearing about them too, I think we've got some opportunities to create some additional educational resources to go along with some of the tools that were provided today and some of the stories that were shared. So what's going to happen now is there'll be a very short interim where we will switch over to our live from the Teach Ag green carpet. You can stay on this channel and that will take you where you need to go, or you can go to the Teach Ag Facebook page. Either one will get you to that fun interaction, and you can hear more from the individuals that are here today. And then we'll see you right back here at 1 o'clock for our celebration of agricultural education, and our most important people are agriculture teachers. Thank you, BASF, and all of your wonderful talent, and we will see you all in just a little bit, so stick with us.